it's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to Julie's Stamping Spot here on YouTube. We are right in the middle of our Project Playback series. Tune in for a new video every day at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time until the end of the year. We're resharing some of our favorite projects from over the course of the year. I shared over 145 videos. There's a lot to choose from. These are my very favorite. And even if the products are retired and you don't have the same things at home, I hope that you'll enjoy the ideas and the techniques, and you'll be able to duplicate them using the supplies that you have. We recently surpassed 2 million views here on YouTube. Thank you so much for being part of that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and being part of my stamping community. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. Are you ready for today's Project Playback? Let's see what we're gonna make. I loved this tower card from Mixed Up Craft. I used her design to create a modified version that would use a half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. One of my team members, Pam D'Annunzio, she posted a picture of a fun fold card that she made, and I looked up some directions. She called it the tower card, and so I found this blog. I feel like I linked to it in my first post. I have no idea who it was, though. I have to look. It was not a Stampin' Up person. It was just another paper crafter. And the card that she made, I followed her directions. This is the size that it made, which is huge. It's a lot bigger than our standard cards. So I wanted to take this concept and make it smaller so that we could do it with a half a sheet of cardstock. So I created my own template and measurements based on the card that I saw. And I'm going to show you really quick. This card will fold flat and fit inside a standard A2 envelope, which is the medium envelopes from Stampin' Up. So it's pretty flat, and I think you could probably mail it without needing extra postage, depending on what kind of embellishments that you use. So this card is what I'm going to show you tonight. I made another version. So the original had all these extra little slits or cuts, and so when I made mine, I thought, I don't know if I like that. So this is the first one I made, and I did not make all those little cuts. I just did kind of some big ones, and then I had paper going across the top and the bottom. But then I thought I would give it a shot, and so all I did was just add the extra cut lines, and then the paper down the middle. And so I kind of like that. So I have two templates. I will post the image on Facebook when I'm all done. I'm also going to put it on my blog, so you can check that at juliedavison.com. That's going to go up by Friday morning, so depending on when you're watching this, it may already be up there. So you can find both of these images there, plus pictures of the cards and a replay of this video. Okay, so here is the template, and here are both of them side by side. So this is the pink one. Okay, this is the modified one. And so you can see I've got a cut line at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3.5, and 4.5. I'm going to walk you through that, so don't worry. But here is the difference then. On the one with the extra slits, the only difference is that there's an added cut line at 1/2 inch, 1.5, 3, and 5. So I just wanted to point out the difference really quick. So you can do either one. You can start with this, or if you like the extra slits, you can go right to this one. They're almost exactly the same, except just the 4 extra cuts on both sides. Okay, so that's the difference. I'm going to walk through this one tonight and show you this card. But like I said, it's exactly the same, except we just add the extra cuts. Okay, are you guys ready? We are using a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 inches by 8 1/4. So it is just a little bit smaller than a half a sheet of cardstock. So you're going to be able to get 2 cards. Using this template, you'll be able to get 2 of these tower cards from 1 sheet of cardstock. I'm using the Misty Moonlight. Let me get out my paper trimmer, and I just want to make sure that this one is cut right at 8 1/4. It is. Okay, so we're going to start with the big score lines on the side. So we've got 1 inch and 2 inch. And this card is really great because it is really simple, 1 inch
measurements. So 1 inch and 2 inch, and then 6 1/4 and 7 1/4, which is 1 and 2 inches from the other side. Okay, so we're going to go all the way down, 1 inch, 2 inch, and then if you want to go across, it's 6 1/4 and 7 1/4. If you want, you could just flip it around and do the same thing. 1 inch and 2. Okay, that is step 1, our score lines on the side. Okay, now the next step is going to be these cut lines. And so I've got the score lines in black and the cut lines in red. And so I wrote the measurements this way so that you can see, but we're going to turn the card this way. So I'm going to turn this that way, but leave the template this way. So we are cutting at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 1/2 and 4 1/2, which, as you guessed, it's 1 inch and 2 inches, and then from this side 1 inches and 2 inches. So really simple. What we're going to do is we're going to cut from the 1 inch score line down to 3 inches. Again, everything's in 1 inch increments. Okay, so let's line this up at 1 inch. And for these measurements, when we're like stopping and starting at different points, I'm using the ruler here on the side of the paper trimmer. Can you see that? I've talked about this before, but so just a reminder, the little line here on the cutting blade is where it is cutting. So that is what we're going to line up with the numbers on the ruler here. Okay, so I've got it. Let me just make sure we're at 1 inch. Okay, we're going to start at the 1 inch score line. So I'm going to put the blade down there, and then we're cutting down to 3 inches. Hopefully you can see this. Okay, so 1 down to 3. Okay, and then so again, this is what we're doing right now. Then we're going to pick it up, and we're going to come down here at 5 1/2. All right, 5 1/4, 5. Oh, I made one up just in case I screwed this up because I messed it up a couple times. No, I'm second guessing myself. Okay, the score line is at 7 1/4. You know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this side, and then we're going to turn it over. Okay, so 1 inch, then we're going to do 2 inches. Now, if you were doing the one with all the extra cuts, you would go 1/2 inch cut, 1 inch cut, 1 1/2 inch cut, 2 inches cut. We're just doing the simplified one. So we're going to go 2 inches starting at the 1 inch, going down to 3. Okay, then we're coming over here to do 1 and 2 inches from over here. So we're going to go 3 1/2, starting at 1 inch, down to 3, and 4 1/2, 1 inch, down to 3. Okay, now we're just going to flip it over and do the same thing we did on this side from the other side. So 1 inch, 1 down to 3, 2 inches, 1 down to 3, and then 3 1/2, which the measurements are right here. 3 1/2, 1 down to 3, and 4 1/2, 1 down to 3. Woo! All right. The only thing that I haven't done yet is just to add a score line here in between the cuts. When I did this one, I actually just did a score line 3 all the way down. And so you can see it like right here. So if you don't like that, you can be a little more strategic with your scoring. But it was just easier to do it that way. So you can either use your scoring blade, or if you find it to be easier, you can take your bone folder and cut or score in the track in between those two cuts. Okay, so I'm just scoring right there, and that's just going to make it easier for this next part. Okay, does that make sense so far? Hopefully. I'm not seeing a whole lot of comments, so hopefully everything so far has made sense. I know this is the kind of card I feel like you're going to want to watch while you're making it, right? And kind of like pause as you go. So do that. Print out your template and, you know, and watch and pause or follow along as best you can. All right, so we're going to fold on our score lines. So I'm going, it's going to be like a, what do you call that? Like a, I don't know what you call that. A big U. It reminds me of the shadow box card, right? The diorama card. We do 2 of these, and then we have them like, we glue them together like this, and then there's like a whole. Anyway, okay, so we folded on those big score lines, and now we're going to take and fold the opposite ones in. So we've got this score line here. That's why this score line is important, so that you have like a good, like you can get a good crease there. So those are just you're gonna fold those in, and so that then you have like, just give this a good, because that folds flat, just give it a good, like, you can use your bone folder if you want. Good creases on all the score lines. This is the base, the bones of our card. So for this modified version, where we're not doing all the slits, I cut 2 pieces for the sides. This designer paper is the Butterfly Bijou. These are 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. I'll include a list of measurements in the video description when I'm all done. So 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then I chose the Natural Touch. And this is 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches. So those are going to go there. So let's glue those down really quick. I love these colors in the designer paper. We've got Pool Party, Bermuda Bay, and Misty Moonlight, which, like, I wouldn't have put those colors together. Like, I don't think that I would have put Bermuda Bay with Misty Moonlight, but it's really pretty to have all these blues. This Natural Touch paper comes in 12 by 12. I just cut it down. Both the Butterfly Bijou and the Natural Touch are limited edition papers. The stamps and the dies will carry over to the annual catalog, but the papers are not. They are special edition, only available during this promotion for the next 2 months. It's really pretty. It's got like this texture to it. Can you see that texture? So like a wood grain look, and then also a fun texture to it as well. Okay, now for the middle of the card, I've got some pieces that are done already. So I stamped in Misty Moonlight onto Pool Party cardstock, and then I die cut with the die. This designer paper is from that Butterfly Bijou, and it's 3 inches by 3 inches. Then the white is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Again, I'll put a list of all the measurements in the video description when I'm all done. So we're going to do some regular adhesive to put these on. And then I've got a sentiment that's ready. And this is, I showed this a few weeks ago with the many messages. I just love the way the white embossing looks on the black, and I cut a bunch of those sentiments, and I still have them. I'm still using them. So this is just one from that set, and I just popped that up with a Stampin' Dimensional, and then I'm going to do some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back to put it on top, or to fill in our card here. So I'll show you the other samples again. And you can tell I'm avoiding the corners because this is going to hang over the edges here a little bit, and I just don't want anything to, like, you know, glue itself down to where it's not supposed to go. Okay. All right, so there's the finished card. Like I said, it does fold flat. You can fit that into a regular medium envelope, which is an A2 size envelope. And then, so where would you write on it is, I think, a good question. I would put a panel back here, a panel of white cardstock. And then you can write your message. It's going to be like a little skinny message, but it can be pretty long. So that'll fit right in there, and then it won't interfere with any of the folding. But who wouldn't love that? And then it sits up, I can't really get it on camera, but it sits up nice, so you can display it really well too. So here is the other modified one that I did. So both of these use the Butterfly Bijou designer paper. There's another many messages die cut. So this is the one that has just a couple score lines. And then this one is a little more true to the tower card with the extra score lines. And those are every ½ inch. And then with a break in the middle. And I mean, I guess you could just go all the way through. You wouldn't need to have the break in the middle. I kind of like the break in the middle. You really can just make it your own. So this is the like original tower card with all the score lines. And this is the one I had ready to go in case I screwed up. So let me just show you really quick. I will just bring the cutter back in and I'll just cut those score lines or the cut lines so that you can see. So we're going to go every ½ inch. So I'm lining this up at the ½ inch mark, and I'm going to cut, oops, I jumped the track there. I'm going to cut from the 1 inch down to 3. And then I already did the 1, so I'm going to go to 1.5, 1 inch down to 3. And then on this side, this is going to be 4. Is that right? And 5. Okay, so just extra score lines, and then you just pop every other one back. Which side do you like better? Do you like the extra score lines or not as many score lines? Here, this card doesn't know what it's doing. It's confused. On this one, I've got more score lines over here or fewer score lines. So tell me which one. Do you like this or that? Do you like the extra score lines or not so many score lines? Here are the samples of the finished cards with the score lines, not as many score lines. Tell me what you guys think. Yeah, Erin says she likes the simple version. The extra score lines. Oops, I lost the rest of the comment. It's blocked by my thing. Oh, Sally says that. Yeah, Robin says less. Christina says that. Becky likes the extra ones. Like, you can't go wrong, really. Janet says fewer score lines. Yeah, so when I first looked at it and saw the big one, like I said, I really felt like it was too much, and so I tried it and I did that one first. But then I felt like it needed a little something else. So I like them both. I don't know that I could pick if I was making it again. I think it just depends maybe on the designer paper. This one has the opportunity to put some extra pattern up on top and below, whereas this one is just a nice long designer paper in the middle.
Okay, that's it for today. I'm so glad that you were able to join me for this project Playback. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you next time with another Project Playback.